What is up, guys? Sonduren here. We're in Montreal, Canada, and I'm going to be taking you guys along my journey for the first time going to an F1 race live. I'm gonna go ahead, walk you through the entire experience over the weekend, from the practice sessions, qualification, and the race day, and let you know, is it worth it? Is it worth it for you to go ahead, spend that money, buy those F1 tickets, and come see the action live? I'll bring you guys along on the journey and we'll find out together, and maybe you'll decide it's time to book some F1 tickets to go ahead and see the experience with your own eyes. So let's go ahead, check it out. We're here, we're gonna do a pit walk to start. It's Thursday morning. We took an 8-hour drive to get here, so I'm really excited to go ahead and actually check out the track, check out the pit lane, and see how everything is like up close and personal. I got lucky enough to go ahead and snag 2 VIP tickets in the CGV VIP section, and I want to take you guys along to find out if it was worth it. Do you follow Formula One? Do you want to go to a Formula One race? It's a lot of money. I'm going to talk about the costs of this too, but was it worth it at the end of the day? I'm going to take you through the entire experience that I had for the entire weekend at this race weekend in Montreal, Canada, and let you know if it was worth it or not. Really, a lot of excitement building on the race. Unfortunately, this season, I would say the Red Bulls seem to be on some steroids. So in terms of like the championship, the Constructors' Championship, those are kind of gone by the wayside. And what you're really watching is now in the racing, kind of the Red Bulls have pulled away, mechanical advantage. Max Verstappen is probably the best driver in the circuit today. But regardless, was very excited. A lot of things were happening coming into Montreal with lots of festivals, a lot of street vendors, a lot of things going on. So the city was buzzing. That's the number one thing. I drove down with a bunch of my buddies from the Toronto area to Montreal. It's about 6.5 hours. We left on a Thursday morning, and really, we got lucky with the hotel, by the way. We were staying at the Alt Hotel. We paid around $320 per night because we booked the hotel a year ago. The hotels now, per night, during the weekend in Montreal, were $1,100 a night, which is just nuts. Really crazy. The tickets that we ended up getting were the CGV VIP tickets, and I'll talk about that VIP experience and if it was worth it or not. But those were, when they came out, and I bought these a year ago, again, those were $1,200. So those are some expensive tickets, like $1,200 to go see a race. Now, it's not one day, it was $1,200 for the entire weekend, and we got into the VIP lounge area for the race right by the track, which was super epic. Like, just seeing those cars for the first time and hearing them, and you're right beside it on the track, that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience I will never forget. Just the sheer power, the menacing roar from those cars and those engines, going there right away and feeling that made everything all worth it immediately. It was honestly spectacular. But on top of everything else on the weekend, of course, again, $1,200 is a lot of money, plus the hotel, right? So we were paying $300 a night. That's 3 nights. There's basically $1,000 there. Your tickets are $1,200. Before you spend any money on food, anything else, we went to Boda for massages, all this stuff. You're looking at $2,200 already for a 3 or 4 day weekend trip. But if you're an F1 fan, you're going here, you want to go ahead and experience the entire weekend. That's what we did. We left Thursday morning. We wanted to go ahead and show up for everything. The practice sessions, the qualification, and of course the race. And so we did. Went through the entire experience. Now, we did have a car, which is great. So we went ahead, found parking. There is parking in the area, but you do have to walk. So for us, we were between grandstand 11 and 12. That's where our CGV VIP tickets were. It was about, from the place that we parked, probably an hour walk. And while we were going through the weekend, so it was an hour during practice sessions. Then during qualification, it was like an hour and 15 minutes. Then during the race weekend or the race day, it was like an hour and a half to 2 hours trying to get through that line of people, a huge horde of people to get to your seats. But the CGV VIP seats were pretty epic. I loved it. It was right on track side, which is great. You have a bunch of tables, which is awesome. You have servers, so you have food, you have drinks, you have everything you want. You have a little lounge area in the corner. So you have all of these kind of amenities here. Now, for $1,200, you know, do I wish the seats were cushioned? Do I wish like a bunch of other things, like there was coverage? Yeah, I probably would have wished for more of that, right? It was kind of basic for a VIP section. Basically just, you know, a section clear with tables that is being served food and drinks. So nothing crazy. It sounds like VIP, but this is not the real VIP. So the CGV VIP is like the poor man's VIP. If you're really VIP, you're in the paddock club. And that's the true VIPs. Those tickets are like $10,000. That's obviously way out of my price range. I can't afford that. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll get there and I will take you guys along on that journey. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. One day, maybe I'll go to a paddock club section. But those people got a true VIP experience. They were even coming around in the F1 trucks, right? They got a tour around the track. It was pretty funny. I was waving at them, but then the crowd started booing at the VIP, the paddock club members. It's almost like, hey, peasants sitting out there in the grandstands, nice seeing you, and everyone's just waving. It was kind of funny experience. Everyone was laughing and booing. It was pretty jokes, but that's the true VIP experience. So this is like, you know, the normal man's VIP experience, which, you know, normal man, $1,200 is pretty crazy. But guys, the entire thing was just epic. Even going into our first practice session, the first time I saw those cars in person and I felt them, it was just nuts. Now, before that, you have a pit walk, which you do. So we went ahead, you know, we waited about an hour and a half again on the first day to go ahead and walk the pits. And we basically had a chance to go see every single team, their cars, their pit crews, all working on the vehicles. Some of the drivers came out to say hi to the fans, which is cool. It was honestly a pretty cool experience. It's a must. You definitely, if you've never been to a Formula One race, you must go walk the pit lane. Of course, you have to do that. Would I do it again? No, I'm not gonna wait 2 hours again to go look at the pit lane again, but for one time that you go do this, you 100% should, no doubt. It was pretty fun. I didn't personally see any drivers come out to, you know, to talk to them or anything, but it was cool to go and see the team, see the cars. That's the first time I saw the cars in person live like that. So it was pretty cool to see them there. Some of them being worked on, some of them done and ready. But that's a pretty cool experience. Then first practice is where you actually saw the cars in person live and hearing the roar of the engine coming out of the pit lane and going out onto that first turn. That was honestly pretty epic. This is so sick. We just got to our seats. We're in the CGV VIP and 100% worth it. So we paid $1,200 for these seats and it was 100% worth it. The grandstand seats, I think, were about $300 when they came out. But again, we had to go online, book them right away. But this is awesome. You're right by the track here. It's beautiful. You're like right in the action. You have the TVs, not too many people, not super crowded. You have seating, and then you have a server. So you can get drinks, food, whatever else you need. But the fact that you're this close to the action, you know, you even got like nice resting places like this here to just chill if you want to break. They have the washrooms. This is the way to see F1 in this VIP. Nothing is going to prepare you for just the sheer sense of power and drama that is coming out of these vehicles. And then you really understand, oh my God, the brevity of the weight and the power of these vehicles, comparing them to what you see on TV. So it was pretty cool. And in my opinion, the cars looked smaller than I thought, which is, again, it made it even seem scarier how fast these vehicles are going, and they're pretty small. These are little rocket ships that these guys are driving. Honestly, pure respect to these Formula One drivers. It was nuts. But look, free practice. It was raining a bit. It was fine. The service was good. You know, sitting down definitely helped. I wish we did have some coverage on some days, but the first 2 days were wet and rainy. And so one thing I will tell you is prepare for the weather. I didn't do the best job of this, to be honest with you. Okay.
Like it's there.
It's actually raining more now. Oh God, we're about to get drenched. We are soaked now. You can see it's just pouring and the camera's already wet, so GG. People are running. There's no saving them though. But you want to make sure you prepare for the weather. You don't want to get wet and feel like shit. You don't want to get wet and super cold. You're not going to enjoy the experience. So if it's raining, please get like a poncho. Make sure you wear the appropriate clothing. Come in layers. Even if it's overcast, wear some sunscreen. I got burnt a lot. Even though I wore sunscreen, I was wearing a hat, I still got burnt a lot. So make sure you pack some sunscreen, know what the weather is, and prepare. That way, you're actually going and experiencing and having fun and not being pissed off about the weather. I had a great time. In the rain, it was fine, and in the sun, it was even better. So thankfully, by the time we went through first practice, second practice, qualification, then we got into race day, and it was beautiful weather. It was sunny, just a bit of overcast, perfect temperatures. We saw the cars really give out everything that they can on the track, because the first 2 days, it was wet, it was slippery, it was raining. You couldn't really see the cars take full flight. And so on the race day, we did it. And let me tell you, throughout the entire weekend, the entire city's just bumping. It's crazy. We went to some great restaurants around the city. You go outside, they have all these venues, all these pop-up shops and tents and festivals happening in the city. It is crazy. Montreal was buzzing. It was an amazing time to be there. So it's Saturday morning, and we're going to be heading out to qualifying. It's going to happen around, I think, 5 p.m. I guess the big lesson learned was, dress appropriately. Wear a hat, bring sunscreen, bring a raincoat, all of that stuff. The weather has been unpredictable, so make sure that you're ready so that you can actually enjoy the experience while you're there. But honestly, I'm telling you, the city is absolutely popping. It's buzzing. A great thing to do actually might be to, if you're thinking about traveling somewhere around the world, anywhere in Europe, America, wherever else it is, and if you can actually put in your travels with the F1 experience, it's pretty cool. The streets of Montreal are honestly like crazy right now. It is buzzing like nuts. A lot of people here are excited about F1. There's a lot of people, just locally and internationally that are here. And it's a pretty cool experience. So again, qualifying is today. We're gonna see how much more busy it is on qualifying and then see what happens on race day. So we're gonna go like pretty early. Right now it's 11 o'clock. We're kind of late actually to going, even though qualifying starts at 5. But on race day, we're probably gonna look at when the entire track opens and go right away. The CGV VIP area, while it's amazing, is not assigned seating. So you need to actually get there earlier to guarantee a good spot. All the spots are good, but to guarantee the best spot for you to sit while you watch the race. And again, we stayed at Alt Hotel, which is pretty central in Montreal, and it was a great location, not too far from the track, about 15-minute drive to the track from there, not even, maybe 10 minutes. But that area and that entire feeling of being in Montreal during an F1 race, all these supercars flying by, basically everybody that's got a supercar, F1's in Montreal, they're coming out to kind of show their big supercars, right? And really make a big measuring competition out of it. It was fun. Hey, I saw a lot of great vehicles there, Lamborghini STOs and everything like crazy, like cars you wouldn't never normally see, and they were all there. But the entire experience, from the city being buzzing, from the race and the experience, and honestly it lived up to every bit of my expectations on just the frightening awe of those vehicles. And seeing it in person, it's something that you have to do once in your life. If you're a Formula One fan, I highly recommend it. Now, would I go and say, look, do I have an urge to go again and again and again? And honestly, the answer is no, for a few reasons. I think this is something where it's like, if you go once or twice or maybe 3 times in your life, I think that's perfectly fine. Quite honestly, it's a little bit different to watch Formula One versus on the TV. So the big jumbo screens that they have there didn't tell you a lot of information that I expected them to tell me. Like in qualification, we couldn't see sector times from people. So we were kind of left in the dark while we were watching this live without really any sector times, which I didn't really like. Also, when you're there, you're kind of disconnected to what else is happening on the track. And of course, you're following it on the screen, but there's so many things that are happening when you're there sitting there live that you're not necessarily paying attention to the screen 24/7. And so you're kind of losing some perspective or understanding of what's happening in the race. Now, those are some things that I think F1 could actually just improve on to make the live experience better. But the reality is, it was an amazing experience. I highly recommend everybody come in and do it. The VIP experience, it's expensive. The hotel's expensive. And I wish it was more VIP. I know the Paddock Club is the true VIP experience, but $1,200 is a lot of money.
$1,200 is still a lot of money for some tickets. I know they're weekend tickets, they're for all 3 days, but I still think that's a lot of money. And I wish it was a little bit more VIP for the $1,200. But 100%, if I said, do I want to do that again? I'd say 100% I want to do that again, especially in that VIP. It was a once in a lifetime experience for me. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times for sure, but 100%, this is not a type of event that you would go to all the time, maybe in comparison to like baseball or hockey or basketball, right? It's a little bit different, and it's because of the cost to a big part of the degree. You know, this entire trip, so outside of what I just talked about, the hotel, let's say $1,000, the ticket's $1,200. I probably spent $1,000 in spending money while I was there on the weekend. So this is a $3,200 trip for 3 nights. That is pretty expensive. I think that's like something you should consider when doing this. And that's why I think most people, if they're thinking about going to an F1 race, they're like, man, I could probably only do it once or twice in my life, right? Maybe a little bit more, but not as often as maybe going to see some other sports. So that's what I think you just need to think about. So if you're always on the edge and you're thinking, should I go at least once? Absolutely. 100%. This experience was so epic. Being there with my 5 friends as well was just the cherry on the top. It was such an unbelievable experience. Time of my life, honestly. I'm so glad we did it. And we were coming back. I was like, man, I don't know if we can really ever top that. It was just so fun. The atmosphere, the race. They broke a record. I think it was over 350,000 in attendance in Montreal. So it was just a wild experience, and honestly, I was super happy and fortunate to be a part of it. So yeah, let me know your questions. Leave them down in the comment box down below. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe again. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe one day I'll go to the Paddock Club. I'll bring you guys along on that journey, how that experience is. But honestly, seeing the cars in person was pretty cool. I'm a big car guy, and seeing those machines, those rockets, on the track, it was really cool. And again, after the race finished, we were going right onto the track. And so we were there, you'd see the asphalt, you're going over the curbs, like all of that stuff was pretty cool. And we walked out of the track from the track. So we didn't go out, back into the grandstands and take the peasantry line. We went right through the track, walked the curves, and ended up exiting. But what a phenomenal experience. And obviously, really cool thing I forgot to mention, I want to mention, is that we bet what the finish would be. We thought it was going to be Max, Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton. We bet on all 3 to land there, and we won. We put $250 down and won $1,500. So that helped pay for some of it, and that was our only big bet as a team. So that was like the cherry on the top of the cherry to end off our F1 trip, which was pretty cool. But yeah, highly recommend, guys, you go for it. The VIP experience, I think it is worth that $1,200 ticket. I think it is. I wish F1 was just a little bit more generous with making it feel a little bit more VIP. But if you do want that experience and you're rich, go ahead and sign up for the Paddock Club. If you got $10,000 to blow per ticket, then you can do it. And actually, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you guys agree with me? For those that did go to an F1 race, do you agree with my statement about the frequency that you'll go to visit it? Does the cost actually deter you from going more often? I do want to hear your thoughts on that. I'm actually really curious. And for those that haven't been, if there's anything that's keeping you from going, I'm curious, what is keeping you from going? If it's the cost mainly, I actually want to hear it too. So let me know in the comment box down below. But I think anybody, if you're a car guy, you love F1, you want to go, should you go once? I think you got to make the pilgrimage to go and see a race. And honestly, go see a race anywhere, right? It could be, they have lots of different cities, lots of different venues. Be mindful. Maybe you're not going to Miami or Las Vegas because those are the most expensive and egregious. But maybe you can go somewhere in Europe where usually it can be a little cheaper than maybe some of the major cities for Formula One racing. So let me know.